Story planning. Lesson objectives. Learners will be able to think of an idea for a story, plan according to the 5-point story mountain, and structure your plan to make it engaging by using flashbacks. What happened? This is Reading Museum. This is a detail from a painting called Gellert, which is sometimes on display. What can you see? This is the full painting. What other things can you see? Here is the Welsh legend of Gellert. In the 13th century, Llywelyn, Prince of North Wales, had a palace at Bedgellert. One day he went hunting without Gellert, the faithful hound, who was unaccountably absent. On Llywelyn's return, the truant, stained and smeared with blood, joyfully sprang to meet his master. The prince, alarmed, hastened to find his son, and saw the infant's cot, empty, the bedclothes and floor covered with blood. The frantic father plunged the sword into the hound's side, thinking it had killed his heir. The dog's dying yell was answered by a child's cry. Llywelyn searched and discovered his boy unharmed. But nearby lay the body of a mighty wolf, which Gellert had slain. The prince, filled with remorse, is said never to have smiled again. He buried Gellert here. The spot is called Bedgellert. This is the story we will be working with for this exercise. The title of the story is Gellert. What's the dilemma? What happened in the story of Gellert? These are the events. A prince leaves his dog behind and goes hunting. He returns to a blood-covered dog and cannot find his child. He assumes the dog has killed the child and kills the dog. The child is safe and well and cries. The prince discovers a dead wolf near his child. The dog has protected the heir and killed the wolf. The prince never smiles again after his dog is buried. Background setting. Who are the characters? The characters are the prince, the baby, Gellert, the hound, and a wolf. When and possibly where is the setting? The setting is ancient Wales. What's the main character doing to achieve his or her resolution? He achieves his resolution by naming a place after his dog. This is the story mountain. You start with an introduction or setting. There's a build-up, a problem or dilemma, a resolution, and an ending. So these will be the events according to the story mountain. The introduction is the introduction of the prince and the fact that he's hunting but without his dog. In the build-up, Llywelyn returns and finds his infant son's cot empty and the bedclothes and floor covered in blood. The problem or dilemma occurs when the frantic father plunges the sword into his dog, killing it, thinking it has killed his child. The resolution is that the dog's dying yell is answered by the child's cry and the prince finds his boy unharmed. The ending is that the prince discovers a wolf which the dog has killed to save his son. The prince is filled with remorse and regret, and it says he never smiles again, buries the dog and calls the place after his dog, Bedgellert. Consider ordering. Should we start this story at the beginning, or could we change the order? Here are the parts of the story in order. Or you could start at the height of the action. So you could start where the father plunges the sword into his dog, and then you could go back to the past, which is called a flashback. You could then start the story from the beginning, and he goes out hunting, he comes home and can't find his child. You've already told the audience about the fact that the hound has been killed, and you can then move on to the fact that the baby is fine but he regrets killing his dog at the end. Or you could start the story at the end. The fact that he regrets killing his dog and the fact that the place is named after the dog. And then you could reveal to your audience the rest of the story. You could even start the story where the prince returns and hears his child crying after he's killed his dog, and then flash back to the rest of the story. Take the story you wrote and plan out the events or different paragraphs separately. Decide whether you could move the events around and plan this out too.